Come on, goofball.
I thought about going the other way.
In your own time.
Well, don't you worry about that, Dad.
Come on, goofball.
Come on.
Have we been taking you for too many walks? A couple miles a day? So this is Mary's and my circle. It's about a mile and a quarter, if that.
It's about between a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, depending on if you all the cul-de-sacs.
Yeah. I wish that I had like a steady cam thing. The phone does a good job, but it'd be cool to have like a really good steady cam for stuff like this, especially if you're recording in like 4K. So usually on this walk in particular, this is where Mary and I talk about the books more often than not. Stories, the ideas, or the book that I'm working on. If she's read it, I have a kind of a superstition about letting anyone read my stuff before it's finished. Back in the day, if I let anybody read just like partial pieces, stuff that I had started but hadn't quite finished, for some reason I just wouldn't finish it. I don't know why that was. So I stopped doing that. And this walk these days, we've been talking about fate for how long now? Jeez.
More than a year.
Over a year. And when I say fate, it's a series. It's 3 books. The third one is actually being finished as we speak. The first 2 are done. And Mary has them both in her hand. She's already given them both a once over, which is good. Read them for content, not necessarily editing and.
Yeah, I have to do the fine-tooth comb still.
Right, no chopping and cutting and killing your darlings and all that kind of fun stuff.
That's your job anyway.
Yeah. I am more of a putter-inner than I am a ticker-outer. I think Stephen King said that once too. I know I mentioned him in like every single vlog, but he is my idol for writing. And I have a tendency to just add more. Because when I do the first draft, what did you say? Oh, it's like the kitchen sink. I throw in everything I can and I write as fast as I can.
Well, you're trying to capture all your ideas.
Sorry, I turned off the camera by accident there. So if there's a weird cut just now, that's why. What were we talking about? Oh.
How long?
You've read the first two. Yeah. And where the series is concerned, I actually did let Mary read some sneak peeks because I figured that wasn't breaking my rule, because generally speaking, I've never written a series. I started This Dog's Afterlife. That's going to be a series of books, but I figure if it's a sequel, it's okay to let at least Mary read a little bit, like a sneak peek.
Well, and you have to adapt your rules sometimes when you want to talk about ideas and get feedback and stuff.
Yeah.
You still wrote the whole first draft of the first one without me seeing it. Same with the second one. You did your first draft.
Yeah. So I think fate actually, since we're on that topic, we are releasing book 1 in October and book 2, if October, great, but November at the latest, which will be really cool. We are simultaneously shopping it to agents, and I have a small little handful, but I do have a handful of agents who told me that I can send things back to them for sure. And these are agents who requested entire manuscripts from me, like read entire books. So that's pretty cool. That's rare for, I think it's rare for any new author, really. And it was definitely rare for me. I got just so many rejections before I had anybody even say, hey, okay, send me the first 10 pages. I like your synopsis. And that was like, holy smokes, really? 10 pages, yay! And then I got the, you know, sorry, but this isn't right for me kind of letter. But then I started getting, I say I, but we, because Mary was helping me send out a lot of these queries. We started getting requests to read the whole books, right? And that was awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah, very, very cool.
And we were like, woo!
Yeah, and they were all long shot agents too. Like, we query the smaller guys and the lesser known, but then we always have a long shot, 1 or 2 that we send out. And the long shots have been the ones who have been like, you know, hey, send us the entire thing. We've read the synopsis, then they'll usually ask for like the first 10 pages or something, or the first whatever section. And if they like that, then they'll ask for the whole thing. And the long shot agents, we're talking like the agents who represent like Neil Gaiman and, you know, big time authors like that. They're all the ones who have asked for the whole manuscript, which is really cool. So right now I haven't sold anything, not for lack of trying.
You and most authors, man. That is the unfortunate situation of the author, is ask and reject, and then someday they get the yes.
And what was kind of the thing about the elves, and that's the one that's been read the most, I think. And we've sold hundreds of copies of it on Amazon. But the thing about the elves is it's Christmas fiction, young adult Christmas fiction. And we knew it going out the gate as a new author, publishing a book that, you know, an agent taking a chance on it and selling a book that's only going to be read once a year. And you're a new author, that's a huge risk. And we knew that going out. And that's kind of some of the feedback we've gotten. But luckily they've all said, you know, hey, send us whatever else you've got, which is really cool.
However,
yeah.
It's
So
too niche for me.
right. So yeah, so the idea is hopefully we'll sell one like Fate, and then they'll go back and say, well, now that you're on the shelves and people are actually reading your stuff, let's take a look at the elves again. You know what I mean? So that would be a dream come true, really, because I love that little book. So where Fate is concerned, it's a story. It's a type of story that I've never written. I've always wanted to write a story about vampires.
Oh.
Right. I'm giving away a little bit, but without giving anything else away, I've always wanted to write a story about vampires. But it's been done to death, you know. And it was the weirdest thing. I got this idea in my head. It was more like a vision. Is she chasing a squirrel?
I don't know what she was doing.
Come on, goofball. It was more like this image popped up in my head, and it stayed there for months and months and months. And all it was a guy sitting on Humpback Rock up on the top, looking out over the valley at night, and then a vampire showing up to talk to him and ask him, you know, why does he come out here every night? What is he doing sitting out here? And that was it. I didn't have a story. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any characters in my head. That was just the image that I had. And I sat down right after we closed the bakery, I think, right after Sugar and Salt.
Yes.
And I just said, you know what? I'm gonna write that. And I wrote the whole book within, was it like 90 days, 4 months, something like that? It was fast.
Yeah, you wrote it. I think you wrote it in around 60 days, actually.
Yeah, it was super fast. I think it clocked in around 430 pages, something like that. But I write fast when I write. And I was lucky enough at the time, I wasn't working. 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, like I was with like we were at the bakery. So I was able to knock something out. I feel like And that was the first time I've written anything. I had written anything in like, was it 10 years, I think? Between that and the L's and This Dog's Afterlife? It was at least.
Shell a couple of years ago, though.
Shell, the short story? Yeah, I wrote that a couple of years ago.
And you wrote Push a few years ago.
Yeah. Push and Shell, the little short stories, over a couple of years ago.
But yeah, anything like book
Novel,
even
yeah.
short book length, yeah, no.
Yeah, it'd been a while. So I guess I just had a lot pent up. And I knocked out the first one, and literally the next day, I think it was 24 hours or less, I wrote Fate.
You started working on the second one.
Yeah.
And it was funny, because I will tell you guys this, he totally declared that he was going to take a break after he finished the first book, because he was like, you know, I want to make sure I clear my head, and and then the next day he was like, okay, I'm going to start. I was like, what about that? He was like, no, it's still in there. I got to keep going.
Yeah. So I wrote Fate book 2, and I stayed up really late one night, something like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I grabbed Mary's iPad while she was out cold, and I airdropped it to her, and I had it just waiting, so when she woke up in the morning, she opened her iPad to check social media or whatever. Oh, that's awesome.
She's like, she was staring at it like, what is it?
The spider, can you guys see that? That's awesome.
Her ears are up, and she's like, what? Is it gonna get me? It's not gonna get you.
So, so I can get back to normal view here. Where are we? Anyway, yeah, I had it waiting for Mary first thing in the morning. And what was really cool, you read it like super fast, didn't you?
Yeah.
Read it.
I read that one pretty fast, the second one even faster.
Yeah, and I've never had anybody come in, and I was working on something else, probably book 3.
After book 2, yeah.
Came in and, what did you say, quote unquote?
Well, I'm not sure I should use the language I used.
Paraphrase. It was awesome. I've never had a review
Basically,
like
the polite version is this book rocks.
that. Yeah, which was awesome. I like that. I've never had somebody do that to me before. It was really cool. Hello. Alrighty. Yeah, she came running in and like, this book effing rocks. I was like, really? She's like, oh my God. That made me feel good. So, yeah, and it's a different book than the first one, which is really cool. I liked. And the third one's going to be even more, different, which will be cool. There was a drastic departure between 1 and 2, I think, in terms of setting.
Well, in terms of setting,
yeah.
Yes.
Which was really cool. Mm-hmm. So, I'm not going to film our entire walk because it would take more than 15 minutes, and I'm trying to keep these little vlogs less than right now 15 or 10 minutes, but I'm sure if you've even managed to watch this much of it.
Of pretty tree scenery.
Pretty tree scenery and us just blabbering in the background. Was there something else you wanted to talk about? I can't remember. You said let's just vlog the walk tonight.
What was it I said? That was before food.
I was turning around here, that dog.
Oh yeah.
The barky dog.
Is already up.
Yeah. We have a dog at the end of the cul-de-sac who he's got an electric fence, but he's pretty aggressive, and
Good girl.
we don't really know how Puds
That was a good girl.
will react. Right, Puds?
She's very good.
So we've been,
see him, but
yeah, we've been walking Puddin a lot more.
now that it's not like slogging through a wet sponge.
Yeah, she didn't walk a lot. She didn't like the walks. We'd take her out and she'd get like down the street and stop. And we couldn't figure out exactly what was going on. And I've never owned a dog that, didn't like walks.
Yeah.
But her
one
back
slowed
legs
down pretty fast.
Yeah, when we
How
rescued
usually.
her back legs, her knees were subluxated really, really badly.
Really?
And that was one of the reasons we even started. We were fostering her actually to get her used to a location, a home before the surgery, and then a place where she could recover. And we made the decision before the surgery even happened that we were going to keep her. We failed pretty miserably at that, but
Pretty miserably, but maybe also kind of purposefully.
right.
Because she's adorable.
But she was skin and bones. She had been abused pretty bad before we got her. They think she may have been a bait dog. She was definitely living on the streets, chewing rocks and everything.
She does not have a lot of. She still has her eye teeth, her big sharp teeth, but like all the like grinding teeth, she doesn't have those basically.
Yeah, they all got ground down, chewing on
old.
rocks. Come on, Puds. But we didn't think she liked the walks because she'd stop, and maybe it was her knees hurting her and stuff. And there's some deer. For those of you who don't know how many deer we have out here at the lake.
Hi, little baby.
There are more deer than people, and they do not care about you. Nope. These little guys will be a little flighty because they're young.
You know, they're already
Mm-hmm.
like, whatever.
But the mama, wherever she is, she'll walk right up to you. But Puds doesn't even care anymore.
Nope.
She knows she can't catch them. And they don't seem to care either, really. There's mama down in the trees. That might be heftier, actually.
Is it?
Looks like. Maybe, I can't tell. We have a deer that comes through our yard. We nicknamed her Half Ear because she has half an ear. One of her ears is kind of jacked up. But, yeah, so when we got Puds, she didn't like walks. She wouldn't go very far. And we thought maybe it was her knees, maybe the paw, her feet. So we've just been like really persistent with her over the last couple months.
Ever since it cooled down, really.
Yeah.
And or late, we'd take her. We would be taking our dog for a walk at like 10:30 at night because that was the only time that it wasn't wretched out in July and August.
She's walked in the snow. She likes that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've been really persistent with her lately, and she's doing like 2.5 miles, 3 miles at a time now, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So she's getting much better, and she's bulking up, which is cool. So we've had to put a little bit more protein in her food. Yeah, is that Half Ear? I can't really see, man. No, that's not Half Ear. That might be Virginia.
I can't tell if that's Ginny or not because her coat, all of their coats
Are coming
moved
in.
out now that it's getting cooler.
We have a deer that has like a marking on her. It looks just like the state of Virginia on a map. So we call her Ginny. We got Half Ear and Ginny. I don't know which one that is.
Yeah, it might not be either.
Yeah. Anyway, there's like more deer than people out here.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So I'm coming in at 14:38 seconds. So we're gonna stop it before 15. And if you manage to stick around that long, thanks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below or on the bottom right-hand corner of this video. And we'll try to put out something at least once a day. Maybe something a little bit more exciting than us blabbering behind the screen, walking around our street. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Just realized this video is longer than 15 minutes, so I apologize. So I figured I'd give you a nice little bonus shot of the lake. Pretty. It's a good evening for it too, because I think it's only about 64 degrees out here right now. So anyway, a little bit longer than 15 minutes. Sorry about that, guys. See you later.